I think that homeownership, it truly is like the foundation of generational wealth. Generational wealth is something that isn't really educated on or talked enough. I think it just has to happen for you to have that wealth that will be long lasting, to buy a house, to buy real estate. In the state of Florida, I feel very blessed to have the ability to say that we really gain equity almost every day, you know?
Hello and welcome back to the Let's Be Real podcast with your host, 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝘀. My guest today is Kristen Vance, who is a lender with Certified Mortgage Planners, a mom of 6, and somebody who is very involved with all things baseball as a coach, a youth coach, and started a wonderful charity. So welcome, Kristen. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
And I appreciate your time spending with me. And we're going to talk about some subjects about work and your personal life. And I'm excited to dive into that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you are a mortgage lender with Certified Mortgage Planners. And how long have you been in the industry?
I've been in the industry almost 10 years. So May will be 10 years for me. It's been a great 10 years.
And your husband is in the industry as well?
That's right. He beats me. He's been in the industry for a little bit longer than me.
Okay. So you're a dynamic duo.
That's right. That's right.
So you've been in the mortgage industry, you're a professional there. I see you around a lot. You're very involved and very knowledgeable. And all the conversations we have about real estate, loans, and interest rates and so on are always very enlightening, I will say.
It's interesting.
It is interesting. And it drives a lot, right? It's a big part of our economy.
Yeah. That's right.
So before you were a lender, what did you do before that?
So before I was a lender, I actually was in the restaurant industry. I was able to enjoy very, very many years with the Outback Steakhouse. I started working with them when I believe I was like 16 or 17 years old, so it's really young. But really had a great career there and went into mortgages after a long story, which I won't get into because it would take all day. But I really enjoyed working in the industry, hospitality industry, I should say. And I learned so much that I don't think that I would have learned if I went straight into finance or the real estate market. I just really enjoyed my time there. So it was a blessing. But it was time to change, but it was a blessing.
Right. So 16, 17, that's very young to go into that industry.
Sure.
And what exactly did you do as...
Well,
as part of the team.
Yeah, so I started as a dishwasher. That's what I did, as a hostess and a dishwasher. So
classic.
Before I worked for Outback, I started when I was 14 as a hostess with TGI Fridays, which they still exist, but I don't see them as often. But a great company as well. But went with the Outback Steakhouse, and I worked my way up all the way to really proprietorship. So I ran my own Outbacks, a couple different ones. So
really?
I had a couple here in Florida. I also went into Savannah, and I was in Savannah for a few years and enjoyed my time there and missed Florida. So we headed back home.
Okay. So as part of the steakhouse environment, do they do like special seasoning and things like that? Oh, yes?
Oh,
really?
Yeah, you got to sign a waiver in blood. So
you do?
Can't talk about
cow blood?
Yeah, exactly. Yep, exactly.
So they do have special ingredients?
Oh, no, they definitely do, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
When you get hired there, you do actually, it's a part of your hiring package where you agree that you're not going to give away their secrets. So,
right.
But yeah, they make, at the time, they made everything homemade when I very first started working there. So due to the consistency and just getting food in and out faster, some of those things they no longer make homemade, but they take it very seriously, the items they don't. So it's a great company.
Did you ever cook yourself? Or Oh, you did?
Definitely.
Did you design some meals?
So I actually did design menus when for a short stint after I left the Outback. I worked for a restaurant here locally, and I did have the opportunity. That was actually a very, very fun experience. I learned how to make barbecue, and it is an art, truly, to smoke meats and utilize seasonings and utilize different woods and different flavor aspects. It is really an interesting world.
Yes.
Yeah, truly like an art form. So I was very blessed to have the opportunity to do that. And now I can make a mean brisket.
Okay.
For sure.
I would love to try that.
Yes, for sure. Yep.
So switching gears, you've been in DeLand specifically for about 5 years.
Yep. Almost 5 years. Yep.
How do you like it?
I love DeLand. Love DeLand. I don't often say my husband was right, but this time he was. So now it's getting recorded. So he's going to use this forever. Might even post it on Facebook. But by all means, we love DeLand. DeLand is a very special place. You hear that when you first move here, how special DeLand is. But it takes a little bit to understand that. Not too long, just maybe a few months, but it sure is a very, very special town. The connections and relationships that you build in this town, they mean something, and it's a solid place, right? I don't ever want to leave DeLand, so love it here.
I don't either.
Yeah.
So, so your family, I think it's a great place to raise my family.
For sure.
I remember that my kids learned walking on Stetson campus.
That's very neat. Yeah.
Yes. So right at the fountain, that's where they took their first independent
Isn't that
step.
so cool?
Isn't that so cool?
That is actually really cool. I didn't know that.
Yes.
I learn something new every day about you, B. Yeah. Maybe not every day.
Almost. But yeah, I mean, that's where I met other moms, and, we're still in contact today just because, there's such a great community and such a great network. So you kind of come across the same people again later on. So speaking of family, how many kids do you have?
Ooh, we have 6 kids.
6 kids.
Yeah,
Okay.
6.
What are
I
they?
haven't lost count yet.
And what are their ages right now?
My eldest is 23 and my youngest is 11.
Okay. Well, that's a big spread.
Yep. Yeah, it's a big spread. So, but by all means, it's really perfect, actually. We're almost exactly 2 years apart with all of them. And we're blessed. We really, really are. It is such an awesome experience to be a mom. That's definitely my number one job. And they're each so special, as you know.
Yes.
Kids are very different, and they're just very special. Really, really awesome experience being a mom.
So I know of you that you are also in leadership roles and coaching your kids' teams. And I saw your socks. So tell us about your socks.
These are my Miami Marlins City Connect socks with the MLB. I'm a huge baseball fan. I coach baseball. I coach softball. If I could do anything in the world, I would do that. And unfortunately, it just doesn't pay. It doesn't pay at the youth level, but we sure do have a lot of fun. So you get a lot of heart gold instead of the kind that folds.
Yes.
But that's okay.
Well,
I love coaching baseball.
It's a great balance.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is.
And balance, I mean, especially for us, business women, really having our head in the game.
Yep.
It's a lot of balancing that we have to do. And, you say yes to one thing means you say no to another thing, and vice versa. So that's definitely
that
something.
Is a tightrope we walk on.
It is a tightrope. It's a fine line.
That's right. That's right. I think that is a talent that you have to always practice at.
Yes.
You're never going to be perfect, and it's a talent that you almost have to say, okay, I'm okay with not being perfect, because you'll never be able to have perfection there. When you have to say no to family, to say yes to business, and vice versa, because business is so important to us. It's tough. It's tough. So, but that's life. That's life. So I think you have to really give and take. Following a schedule is so important. We do a lot of time blocking in our family, and the schedule kind of has to stay. If you pass into some of that time blocking, you have done screwed up. So you really have to stay on schedule. So that's probably, I would say, the talent that I'll never be great at, but I'm going to be good at it because I'm going to keep practicing and keep practicing. One day I'll be great. But
well, I've heard that if you are at 80% reaching your time blocking, 80% of the time, that is really almost considered perfect because we're not robots. And we're human, and life happens. Very hard to stick to it. I'm probably at 70% at best, because in my industry,
you're doing very well.
There's a lot coming at us, a lot of emergencies and important phone calls.
Our industry is that way. I feel lucky that we are in the same industry. We really do understand that.
Yeah.
Because, man, it's houses. The perfect house doesn't come along every day for every client.
Yeah.
But when it does, it does take priority, and I know that you know that.
Yeah.
It's a blessing to be able to help folks.
Yes. Well, speaking about helping folks, so I sell houses.
Yep.
I have buyers and sellers, and you make it happen for the buyers.
Yep.
And you refinance, of course, as well, which, you know, at certain times of the real estate cycle and interest rate cycle, that makes sense. And I'm curious, you know, we think a lot about, we see all kinds of buyers. We see the seasons buyers, the move-up buyers, the downsizers. And then there is the first-time homeowners.
Yep.
And they have sort of taken a hit for a little while because of the cost of real estate, but they are back. And what are your thoughts on home ownership and the generational wealth that comes with that?
I think that home ownership, it truly is like the foundation of generational wealth. Generational wealth is something that isn't really educated on or talked enough. I think it just has to happen for you to have that wealth that will be long lasting, to buy a house, to buy real estate. In the state of Florida, I feel very blessed to have the ability to say that we really gain equity almost every day. You know, if you look at the percentages over time, you know, we really have a good steady gain of equity in homes here. So, man, it's good. It's good to live in the state of Florida, right?
Yes, it is.
But with that being said, it doesn't really matter where you're from or where you live. Owning a home is an asset that you can always depend on, whether that is just for shelter or whether it is for a future investment that you are putting money into every single month, that you're building equity and almost like building your little treasure, you know?
Yes.
And the coolest thing is at the end, unlike renting, right, where you pack up all your boxes and take all your memories with you, you don't really take anything else. But when you own a home, you do the same thing, but you get to walk away with that equity that you've earned and a lot of times put it towards your next treasure. And then the next treasure after that and the next treasure after that. So as a mom, I think I really, when you get 40 and older, you start to think about stuff like, what am I going to leave my kids? What are my kids going to walk away with from me?
Yeah.
I hope that is love and knowledge and their trust in me. But because we live in a physical world, I hope that they walk away with some type of inheritance that they can depend on.
Right.
And home ownership is so important for that.
Yes.
It really is.
Yes, I agree with that. And there is a big joy in putting first-time homeowners into their first home and guiding them along the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
I tell this to first-time home buyers, which we have helped a lot, and we're so thankful for that because it is a part of their life. That's what I love about what I do. It's like I will forever be a part of the families that I help. I'll forever be a part of their story, just as you will. And that it's like something I don't take for granted. It becomes an emotional thing for me because what a special thing.
Yes,
you know, it really is cool.
And it really starts there. And what I work a lot with upsizers, right? Move-up buyers is what I was trying to say. Move-up buyers.
We like working with them too.
Well, yeah, there you go. And so they are at that second, third, you call it treasure, you know, move where they leave the smaller home that they are outgrown, or they just, you know, have the funds to upgrade or maybe just expand the space that they're in, and they move up. But then I also see the downsizers. So another group that we work with a lot are the ones that now need to downsize.
Or right size, right?
Or right size, yes. Yes. And I don't know if have you been to one of my Silver Keys seminars?
You know, I have not. And I have meant to do that.
Yes.
I love helping folks in that scenario.
Yeah.
Because in my world, there are a lot of options for that. There really are. Many folks, they haven't necessarily done their best in a sense of retirement planning. And sometimes their home is all they have.
Right.
And when they go to sell it, there's so many different ways that they can utilize the funds of their equity that they're walking away with. And we really love the opportunity to have to introduce them to other partners that are financial advisors, to introduce them to the right agents that can put them in the best situation like you. and really utilize that asset that they have in the right way. There are different types of mortgages.
Yeah, like reverse mortgages
100%,
is one option. I know we talked about this before, that reverse mortgages had gotten a really bad rap.
They definitely had a bad rap for a long time.
Why don't you give us a little overview why they are back?
Well, truth be told, reverse mortgages they for the right reasons had a bad rap. But when years ago when the market kind of fell apart and we had recession, so to speak, the Department of HUD saw the good in reverse mortgages because the whole program itself, it's really for a good reason. But the lenders that were utilizing it, they just were taking advantage of folks.
Okay. So explain to our audience, what is a reverse mortgage?
So a reverse mortgage is essentially the reverse of a traditional mortgage. So a traditional mortgage is what they call a forward-moving mortgage. When you pay your payment, a portion of that payment goes towards what you owe, the principal amount of what you owe. And so in a reverse mortgage, you don't have a payment. And so there's a little bit more added to the principal amount of what you owe. So for someone that may be right-sizing or downsizing into a smaller home, say they make a good chunk of money and they want to go buy something cash, they're going to get something that may not be what they want simply because their cash may not allow that, right? But maybe they have half of their next dream home and they can put, say, 50% down. Well, if you have a client like that who this is their absolute dream home, but how are they going to pay their payment if they don't really have any other retirement? Well, with a reverse mortgage, they wouldn't have one. They would you have to have about 50% or more down. But you literally will never have a mortgage payment. And the rules around reverse mortgages are that you can live up to 120 years old, which to history now, they have never had somebody that has been in this situation. And I think that if they ever did, again, the Department of HUD is now who is managing reverses. So I think that they would change that if that was the case, because it's there to really help the homeowner. But as long as you're living in that home, it's never going to be taken from you unless it becomes ill-maintained. If you don't pay your taxes, if you don't pay insurance, you have to have taxes and insurance, or pay your taxes and insurance, I should say. And if you ever move out of the house. So as long as you're covering those bases, then you can live in that house for the rest of your life for no money out of pocket necessarily for the rest of your life. And at the end of the day, a lot of people are a little bit nervous about that because, again, that may be their piece of inheritance they're leaving.
Right.
But if you have your family that is there to inherit that, they're probably going to want you to enjoy your life more so than they're going to want your piece of property. And you may deal with this. I know I've heard this about the market, but people inherit properties and they don't have as much care and concern about it as you would think they would. So to them, it's like we just want to sell it and kind of get done with it and close that chapter, which I can completely understand. So I think knowing that, I really just, it's such a gift to be able to give someone that not necessarily has a retirement plan in place to be able to really utilize their equity and utilize their assets to allow that.
Yes.
So it's a great option. It really is.
Yes, I think so too. Like you said, for the right reasons and
For
the right situation. We talk about it, of course, with our clients, and we actually refer them to you so they can get the professional to talk about it, and not just not just their real estate broker. Yeah. Very cool. So DeLand, you're out and about, you have 6 children, you're coaching, you're getting it all done. You mentioned earlier, you're time blocking a lot, and that's how you're going to get everything done. And then I heard that you also opened up a 501c3.
That's correct. Yeah.
That is amazing because I know that there's a lot of work that goes into that just to check all the boxes, right? To even get through that process. So tell us about that.
So it really is something that is really special to me just because of all the youth sports that I'm in. And so we have a 501c3 that is a little bit different because there's a lot of opportunity and support out there for youth sports. If you have a child that may want to get into like a recreational type of a league, and you don't necessarily have the funds to support that cost, there's a lot of scholarships and things like that for those types and levels of sports. But, if you have a child that is exceptional and they're ready to move up and be more competitive, then it's hard for them to pay for that a lot of times. It becomes very expensive. Travel ball, you probably have heard that term before. Not only does it take a ton of time, But it takes a lot of money. It really does. The cost of extra fields for practicing, the cost of extra, personal coaches, the cost of equipment in general, even the cost of attending a game for a child, which you would think would be free. But you actually have to pay as a parent to get in to see those most of the time. So there's just a lot of costs that add up. And we've had a travel league, or travel team, I should say, not a league, where there was a child that we really wanted on our team, but she just couldn't pay. Her family just could not afford it. Mm-hmm. And so this is really where it all started. But we went out and we found local businesses that were generous enough to support this young lady and get her a scholarship. And so from that, that was really the beginning. And it grew from there. And we were like, man, if we could do this with her, why not do this with our kids? So we started doing it with a couple other players that gave them the opportunity to experience it. And then we kind of said, well, what about other sports and other activities? There's probably so many kids out there that may play football or basketball or, and honestly, we even sat down when we were creating this and we said, well, what if there's a kid that, dances? Because that's not really our gig, right? Yes. But we know that also, I'm sure, can be an expense. So we really wanted to start this to help support those kids.
So is this only for very talented kids, or?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
The whole preface was because there were so many opportunities out there for kids that could join in like a city league or a rec league or something that the YMCA might have or your local county or city may have. Those you can typically find scholarships for pretty easily. But if you wanted to go into those competitive types of level sports, there's nothing out there. So really? the team itself has to, find funds for that player.
So what is it called?
It is called All Kids Can Play.
All Kids Can Play.
Yeah, All Kids Can Play. So look us up. We would love your support, love anybody's support. And it really is great. I mean, as a parent of athletes that do play a lot of travel ball, we have the opportunity, we're very blessed to have the opportunity to support our kids, but it is expensive.
Yes.
And I will tell you, I can't imagine being a parent with a child that had great talent and having to turn and say, I'm sorry, but you just can't play there. I can't take you there. We can't buy the $500 bat for you to go out and hit balls with, because that's really how expensive decent bats are, right? So
$500 bat.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
I had no idea.
That is the new thing. All the bats that are decent, well, they're great bats, but there are good bats that you could probably buy for a couple $100, but the really good ones are very expensive. So it's crazy. That's just baseball, but a lot of other things.
So how do you go about this? If I wanted to help as a business, how would I find you? Yep. Where do you go? What exposure do you have?
Sure. So we're honestly, this is kind of a new thing to us. We're really getting started in it. But you can find us on social media, and All Kids Can Play. You just look us up. And we have a place right there where you can go and donate, and you can always send a check, and we'll take cash too. So,
let me see.
I know, right? But no, it's great. Our goal really is not to just pay for the fees from leagues and things like that, but it's to help buy those $500 bats, buy the equipment that really helps these kids get to the next level, help pay for private lessons and private coaches, and just help,
Yeah.
It really, sports can quickly maybe become something for the ultra elite, right? But we want to make it for everybody.
Yeah.
So.
And this is DeLand only, or Volusia County?
No, it's really, really anywhere. We would love to help anybody, so.
What's your vision?
Man, my vision is to really have maybe even a whole league of, travel ball types of sports, to where kids could come in and they wouldn't necessarily have to worry about paying, Maybe we could have a whole closet of $500 bats. Give them away. So I love that. I think that it's like Christmas Day, man, when you can get out there and win a game, seeing those smiles on the kids' faces. It's awesome.
Yes.
So
I've been an athlete all my life.
Yeah.
I was in track and field growing up. Yep. I did heptathlon and pentathlon.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my...
That's awesome.
Yes. I was very competitive in Germany, that is, so on the national level. And then I had, developed bad knees, so I had to step away from that, but, entered into competitive skydiving,
Sure.
and now I'm in a competitive equestrian. So just being an athlete is part of my makeup, part of who I am. And I know that if you're an athlete and you're being held back for monetary reasons or even just logistics, right?
That's
Being
right.
picked up, driven, and so on, it is very, very hard.
It is.
And if I may say, it's unfair.
It is. It is.
Right?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yes.
It gets expensive, and you start to think about all those kids out there that, and this really is, it's a new generation of how youth sports are working. So I can see where kids that may be less fortunate necessarily for monetary reasons kind of get left behind in that sense, and it's a shame. So we want to help that. Okay. We want to help all the kids.
So we want to put kids in sports.
That's right.
Then we want to put the young adults in houses.
That's right. All about kids here.
I know. I didn't. That was my intention, but hey, this is an important subject, and the youth, and the young adults are really our future, and they're forming the community, in their own ways going forward. So I think it's super, super important. Now, one last thing. Real estate. Yeah. One last thing, real estate, right? So how passionate are you about real estate?
I love real estate, girl.
Yes.
My husband often says, if you want to know if there's anything for sale in DeLand, go to Kristen, because she's constantly looking. I love to search for homes. I'll be on Zillow and realestate.com and all these other websites that are unreliable. And that's why I have you in my life. That's right. But I'm a shopper at heart when it comes to that stuff like that. But I think it's because I understand how it can absolutely change your life. Yes. I think that people don't really get that until they own a home, and really until they sell their first home. Yeah. Because you can own a home all day long, and you pay your mortgage, and you don't really see the treasure that you have. You really don't. But when you go from that first home that you've owned, and you sell it, you're like, I'm going to make how much money? And then you can put that money towards a home that you are just love. It's like your dream home. Yeah. And then you get to do it again one day. Yeah. I mean, it is just this awesome rotation of life in a sense of finance,
And that's why I love real estate. Yeah. I love it. It's really a passion. I always say I work nonstop, but rather than solving a puzzle, I solve a problem for somebody.
That's right.
And so that's why I really, really enjoy what I do. But so a wise man told me, a great investor, lots of money in the bank, told me that you should buy a home 3 times worth of what you own. Yep. It's not own.
I might know that wise man.
You might? Okay. Buy a home 3 times more than what you earn. Yep. And with that, when you have the appreciation, which is typically around 5%, here in Florida, or at least in our area, Central Florida. And when you look at your appreciation, whether you buy a small home or a large home, it appreciates the same, but your return on investment is so much higher with that larger home. Of course, it needs to, you have to be reasonable, and it needs to fit in your plan, where you come in, you make sure that works. That's right. But looking at real estate not only as, I buy a house, I buy this, but it's part of your wealth plan and your wealth planning. And I just was part of a great panel, and we talked about that on that panel, how, as you grow older, you need a financial advisor, you need a tax person, you really need a good lender, you need an attorney, and then you need that real estate broker that executes the real estate part. And I think sometimes folks don't realize how important real estate is in building up wealth. So thank you for emphasizing that.
Yeah, and I would agree. It's like it's more about having an expert that's local, right? Right. Because hopefully people are going to go buy homes, and they're going to keep buying, and really not to live in, but to invest in. Yeah, absolutely. And you need somebody that is a local expert that's going to be able to say, this is good for you, or this may not be good for you. Yes, because of whatnot. And I know that you do such a good job, almost like a detective, finding out what's important to your clients, because you can help lead them to that right property. Yeah. And for those that say, I can do this, I don't need a real estate agent, they just don't really understand what you do. And really, you're like a guard dog protecting them. You really are. And you're out there being such a fierce negotiator because it's only the most expensive thing you'll ever buy until you buy another one.
That's right.
And having a professional that truly is an expert and understands that, there's just nothing better, in my opinion. So you got to have a real estate agent. Don't go buy houses without them. People telling you that, that might be a mistake for you.
Well, thanks for the shout out. Yeah. And that concludes our session. Thank you again for being here. And
it was a pleasure. Thank you.
And I can't wait to put more kids into sports.
Yes. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
We'll win together.
Okay. We'll do.
Okay, cool.
Kristen, last question. What is your favorite snack?
Oof. Okay, so I have an issue with my stomach. I can't really eat a lot of fun things anymore. So I like things that nobody likes, but I like dried cranberries and fresh fruits, and there you go. That's it.
So I got you.
Oh, that's so funny.
The cranberries and sunflower kernels. I hope that
this is perfect.
A perfect snack for you because
sure. I didn't actually even know they had this in a bag. I make my own at home out of sunflower seeds and dried cranberries, and I just put a little bag for myself. But I'm gonna have to eat this at practice tonight.
See?
Yep.
You're gonna be all fueled up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll be excited for this. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Great. That's awesome.